feel like potatoes are the manna of this earth. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Last update I had for you guys was I was on a 30-day Whole30 diet, except the only thing I ate was pretty much potatoes, vegetables, and non-starchy vegetables and fruits. And that was on 30 days that I just finished, and from there I immediately went into cutting out all vegetables and fruits and just doing potatoes. So this is what I've been doing. Today's the 5th day from when I last did the Whole30, and there's a lot of differences and changes that I've had from the Whole30, or just the potatoes, vegetables, and fruits, and some nuts in here and there, to these 5 days that I did just potatoes. One thing that I very much noticed instantly was that my stomach was not bloated. Once I took out all of the vegetables and fruits, but I'm pretty sure it was mostly the vegetables that made me so bloated, and also gas and constipation. When I took those things out, immediately my stomach never bloated. Like, it filled up normally, naturally, but it was not overly full or bloated looking or anything like that. So that was really nice for me to see that. The first day that I woke up after the all potato diet was, I felt just so happy. I mean, my mind was actually happy. You know, the kind of happy that you have as a child, and you wake up, you don't really have any reason to be happy. You're just happy because, you know, life is good in my mind. And I've had that pretty much every day, but it is kind of a transition. I mean, this is only like 5 days it has been since this is the 5th day. So, you know, it may seem like, sometimes I think, is the diet the problem, but it's not, because I feel like I am really changing. Like a lot of things are changing in my life in accordance with this potato diet. You know, just like changes the way of thinking, because so much is based around food, right? And so much of our time is based around food, our decisions and everything. And once you actually find the pot of gold that you were looking for, which I have, then you start thinking about other things. You start using your mental capacity and energy to think of like different things. Like, okay, what am I going to do with my time now? Like, how am I going to arrange it? Like, you know, there's so, like, it feels like, oh, I'm tired, but really you're going through a big transition. And I really want this to be a lifestyle kind of thing. I mean, I've never found a food that is actually cooked that I can eat as much as I want, be full, be satisfied, and not gain any weight. Potatoes is definitely the food that I found that does all those things. So it's like my problem is solved now that I have potatoes and found out the miraculous potential of potatoes. Like, I feel like potatoes are the manna of this earth. I feel like God really put potatoes on this earth for humans, and for me especially. Maybe it's because of my genes, and I come from Poland, Eastern Europe, and they lived on potatoes. They had lots of, potato famines, I guess. I don't know, but they lived on potatoes. Potatoes is a daily thing for them. So it might be from that. If it was someone from, say, like China or the Eastern, I think rice would be good for them. I really felt like my stomach was working really well and efficiently, and I fell in love with boiled potatoes. Boiled potatoes have a lot more water, so it's like you get fuller faster, and it seems like more satisfying to me. So I just love boiled potatoes. All I've mostly been eating is boiled potatoes. I did have baked potatoes one time. So far I've lost about 2 pounds, and I think that is really remarkable because I did not feel hunger. The second day I did feel kind of like weird cravings and adjustments, but that was just the second day, and I went through it. I watched some videos on YouTube about the potato diet, about people going on their fast, potato fast and all that. So that kind of helped me get through day number 2. And that was the hardest day for me. Day 3 was a little bit better. Day 4 was just easy. Today is easy. It even comes to the point where you're just full, like you don't really need to eat. But I have been drinking a lot of tea, especially after my meals. I still will feel hunger, even though I eat a lot, I think. Well, maybe not a lot, but I eat enough that I feel satisfied. And then I will definitely have tea right after because it like stops the hunger. Otherwise the hunger will keep kind of lingering and lingering. So teas will stop the hunger right after you have your potatoes. Or I was talking about weight. It's normal to lose on average about 2 pounds a week. That is normal. And consider that you are not losing water weight. You are not losing bone mass, muscle mass, nutritional value. You're not losing those things. You're just losing fat. Okay? So you're just losing fat. So that's the difference between this diet and other starvation diets, is that you are just primarily losing fat, and it won't show up on the scale like 5 pounds in 7 days or something, because you are just losing fat, and that is the best thing you want to do. The fact that after that 3rd day I felt like I'm not on a diet anymore, and it felt really easy and comfortable and just really happy and thankful that there is one food that I can just eat and not have to worry about other foods, and I can just think on other things that are more important than food. And it's normal to lose 2 pounds on average. I saw lots of videos and lots of people. So on average, you will lose about 2 pounds a week. So that is normal, and I'm really happy with that. And it may not seem like a lot, but if you don't look at the scale, that is one thing. Don't look at the scale when you're doing this, because it will kind of like mess you up a bit. Just rely on your body, the mirror, and that's it. And you will notice how much I've noticed that my stomach has gone down a lot. It is looking very nice now, but of course I'm only on the 5th day. Today we are actually going somewhere, and I think we're going to be eating other things. We're invited somewhere, so I don't really want, honestly, I would bring potatoes, but that would be kind of weird, and I don't want to be a weird person in this, so I think I'll just eat what is there and then go back to it. But another thing, I am starting to feel like I want to be fasting. Fasting is a kind of like, it's hard to get into the feeling of wanting to fast, because you have to be in a state of physical kind of like cleanliness and strength as well to be able to want to go into fasting. So from the 30 days, I recommend, if you want to get into this kind of gradual thing that I've done, I really recommend this, is go 30 days on potatoes, fruits and vegetables, and then from the 30 days transition to however long you want to on just potatoes until you get the natural desire to want to fast. I also want to mention exercise, because I have started doing a little bit of crunches. My crunch routine is about 7 minutes. It's not very long, but it is intense, and you do feel the next day you do feel your abs, especially your lower abs is where I really like to target. And I have also started wearing this waist trainer, waist cincher, what you may call it. I have started wearing it just to get a more shape and lose more fat and get a leaner figure. In conclusion, I do know that it is vegetables that causes the bloating and not potatoes. since I've cut out the vegetables and the fruit, I've had no bloating, and I've had very good digestion, and I feel so happy, and I feel like excited about life, and I feel like the possibilities of life are much more closer, and I feel like I can get more of, you know, dreams come true and all that, because I'm in a good place with myself, and I'm finally kind of found peace with food because of potatoes. It's like has always been my kind of my stumbling block in life. I always feel like if I can get the right diet, that I will be satisfied, I will be healthy, strong, and I will not gain weight naturally from it. I will not increase in weight. I feel like I've won the jackpot, or, you know, I found the pot of gold, or whatever you want to call it. So now that I've found these potatoes, it's like my mind is really changing. I'm like, oh, well, this is not a problem anymore, you know, and I feel like so many more things are possible. And I'm starting to think about, like, you know, spiritual things, and, you know, that life is not just, it doesn't look like it's problem, you know, like it doesn't look like there's always a blockage. It's just, you know, it seems like that when you have a big problem. It seems like the other things are big stumbling blocks and blockages in your life, and you can never get through them. But now I see like those things are not really blockages. There's another way to go around them, because I don't have to focus so much on food and diet and, you know, staying on top of that. I could just take one step at a time. Next meal, just make sure it's potatoes. You know, don't think about the future. Don't think about how am I going to lose all this weight? How am I going to get to my dreams? Even though you feel like they're so close, even in 5 days of potatoes, you feel so good in your mind and in your soul. It's like the balance. The balance is, I think this is the Ayurveda medicine. What they're all about is their balance. And I never really got it until now, that there has to be a balance between, like, the, you know, your mind and your soul or your heart have to be kind of friends, and they have to agree on things. But if your body is not, you know, your body is mad because it's not healthy, or it's not happy with where it is in itself. It's not happy with the food it eats. It doesn't get happiness from the food. And even I do get pleasure from eating just potatoes. I have been eating a salt with them, so it's not just potatoes. Salt, I did have some cayenne pepper sometimes. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I didn't have any like ketchup or sriracha and all that. I just kept it simple. So what was I saying? So I think you get the point. Another thing that I have noticed, that my nails have tremendously gotten a lot harder just on potatoes. My nails are very hard, and they're growing very long. I used to have very short nails, and now they're growing out longer. Before I did the Whole30, I did have some acne, some redness, some patchy reddy spots. Those have all gone. And even from the 5 days of just potatoes, the texture of my skin, and it has gotten a lot like brighter or whiter, I would say. Like, I used to have lots of freckles here. I think the freckles did fade a little bit. Another point I wanted to talk about is what a lot of girls see themselves in the mirror, and they think that they are fat. And this goes with anorexia and those kinds of illnesses, where they look at themselves in the mirror and they do not see that they are skinny. You know, they don't see that at all. They may be very skinny. People around them see that they're very skinny, and they're like, you need to gain some weight or something, but they don't see that. And I kind of know why they don't see that. It's my theory, and if you check it out, you'll see yourself. Because when you come from a place where you're on a starvation diet, you cannot get really satisfied. You cannot get to the point of satiation with your food intake where there will be like a little switch in your brain that will go off, and it will say, okay, I'm satisfied, I'm full, I'm okay, you don't need to feed me anymore. And when you're eating a low calorie diet, minimal food, it's hard to get that switch to go off, right? Because you're minimalizing on food. And that's why when you look in the mirror or you look at yourself, you do not see that you are skinny, because that switch has not gone off. The switch is always hungry. But this is the first time I've noticed this in my life, because I could say that that was my problem too. Not that I had anorexia, just, that I could not see myself skinny. And when on this potato diet, this is the first time it happened. A couple of days ago I've noticed that when I eat and I have my meal and I eat my potatoes and I'm full, I'm satisfied, where I cannot eat anymore, I don't want to eat anymore, I'm okay. It is so strange. It's like it's an optical illusion in your own mind, in your own eyes, where you look at yourself and you'll be like, wow, I'm skinny. This is very weird to talk about, but it's very true, okay? It's very true, and I've noticed this. So I just want to say that if you're one of those people that suffer from that kind of thing, it's just your mind optical illusion in your own eyes, and it's because that switch is never fully turned off. It doesn't reach to the turning off point, so you still see yourself as fat, as overweight, or whatever it may be. But potatoes will allow you to eat as much as you want, and you cannot overeat on them, because a lot of potato is water weight, fiber, some protein, and then a little bit of carbs. So like 1/3 is about carbs, and those carbs are resistance carbs. So the amount of potatoes I eat, I do not gain any weight at all. And I'm a kind of person that can eat anything and I'll gain weight right away. But potatoes, I don't get that at all. So that's why I'm saying I can eat potatoes and then I can look at myself and be like, because the switch has gone off, I'm satisfied, I'm full, I'm satiated. And I can look at myself and say, wow, I am actually looking skinny. Even though I may not be as skinny as some people's standards are. But usually when that switch would turn off and I would eat something else, I would not look at myself and see myself skinny. I would look at myself and see myself fat. If I had eaten like lots of pizza or whatever else, then immediately I would look at myself and I would not see myself like that. So that is the difference between potatoes, and I think that's why it's a miraculous food. And maybe it's not manna from heaven, spiritual food that even, the angels ate, and people ate it too, because we're still made in the image of God and the angels, but it is earthly manna for humans that we do not have to pray to God, please give me manna from heaven, because I've done that too. Another thing is that potatoes are really good for your healthy gut bacteria, so they help grow those, they feed them. And there is this one video which was quite amazing about how the resistant starch in potatoes feeds certain healthy gut bacteria, and those gut bacteria will eat the resistant starch and then give off another kind of some molecule, some thing like a protein or something, will give off something that a different kind of gut bacteria will eat that, and they will multiply and they will give something off, and a different kind of gut bacteria will eat that, and the end thing, I don't even know what it is, it's like a protein or something they give off, these healthy gut bacteria, and that is what we use through our large intestine, goes into our bloodstream, and we use that for energy. So I believe that goes like where we can eat some potatoes and be satisfied for a long period of time. And now that I'm thinking about fasting, because when I fasted last time, last summer I fasted a lot. I did do lots of videos on the topic, and I noticed that every time I would go a couple days stretch of fasting, 8 days or 3 days or 5 days or whatever the stretch was of fasting, when I finally ate, I ate a lot and I ate everything, and I was craving a lot of like sweet things and like carbs, and I was craving everything. So I just ate everything. One meal I ate everything, and then I would go again fasting again. So I tried very hard not to eat too much of the sugary things, but I did crave them. So now I have no cravings at all for anything besides potatoes. Even if the person says you can eat anything you want, I will naturally, habitually go to potatoes, and I feel quite satisfied, and I feel really happy eating the potatoes because it gives me happiness in my mind, in my soul, in my heart, and in my body. My body is happy just from eating potatoes. And when I think about it, I might be going on to a water fast, like that salt potassium solution water fast, because that thing really helps you go longer on the fast. Even when I think about that, and then I kind of got depressed, I was like, oh, I'm going to go back to eating, everything at once. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't feel like that at all. Right now, even if I went a few days fasting, I would not go back to that. I would definitely just prefer the potatoes, and I think that's what my goal is, and that's what I'm going to do, is just, if I do go on a fast, then it will be primarily, I'm just going to eat potatoes because that is just what I crave, and I think is really good for my gut and my brain connection and all of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear what you think. And I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye!
Bye, Mom.
Bye.